full guard. And we're gonna look to like set up an arm bar, but kind of talk about the different positions and what we should be going for and all that cool stuff, right? So, as always, when we're in full guard, for me to set up any kind of sweep or submission, I gotta off balance him, get control over his posture, and then I'm kind of free to see what's available for me to use, right? So I can push, pull, you know, drop him down, break his posture, and get control over his head and arm. Right? It's a really easy way to kind of like stop him from punching me. I have an underhook instead of an overhook, but I'm still able to kind of keep him restrained down here. So now, I don't want to be flat on my back, right? So once I have control over his posture, I'm obviously free to move my legs because he can't escape. So I'm able to open my guard and start moving around. So I'm usually looking to like kick off a hip, start getting to my side, and then keeping everything nice and tight. And as I'm moving to my side, I don't want to just like stay in the same spot and rotate sideways. I also want to rotate up, right? So as good as getting sideways is, I also kind of want to start sliding up, like closer to his armpit and away from his hips. As I start to do this, it starts to stretch his arm out over his head and stuff, and just puts me in a much easier position if I'm going to try and take his back or go for some things. So now I'm here. Now my knees are pinched. I've got a good kind of like grip on them, but my first priority, like my hierarchy of what I would want to do, would be to improve my position, which would mean probably taking his back. And in order to do that, I'd have to like stretch and shut this off and then immediately crush it in, take my gift wrap, start climbing up his back. Okay? But if I start to go for that and it's not there and I can't get this off, he's being kind of sticky with this arm and I can't actually take it off of my head, right? Then I'm gonna have to do something else to address this arm. And it could mean like going for a razor lock, but if I do that, then I've now let go of him, right? So although it's like a good, like immediate attack for me, I'm giving up, you know, my grips on controlling like his whole body. So maybe that's not the next move, right? But what I could do from here is still attack his arm and go for an arm bar. So if I'm gonna go for the arm bar, I don't want to take this off of my head. If I'm taking this off of my head, I'm going for the back, right? But if I can't go for this, then it's an easy setup for me to go for the arm bar. And I'll show you why, right? While the arm is still on my head, I can trap it there by going for my own shoulder, and then I can start to build up height and rotate. So I can come up, post on my elbow, and then now I can start going straight into my hook for this arm bar. If I took his arm off of my head, like I was going for the back take, I got here and I rolled it off, and then I wanted to go for the arm bar, like I could still go for it, but look how easy it is for him to get his hands together and defend, right? I'm giving him his defense like from the very first step before I do anything else to actually go for the arm bar. Where here, I can keep his hands separated while I start to go for this, okay? As I'm looking to hook his elbow and build up height here, like this is really important to me. Like I think getting up on this elbow and having this little window makes it really easy now for me to start swimming through to attack his arm. I could be here, get that same hook, and then take this elbow underneath my ribs, and we kind of get to that like 3-point jiu-jitsu position, which is really important to develop, to be able to get here and kind of like roll through this way, right? This is good, and I can still do this and like have this attached, but like I really don't want to roll over my face. I can obviously post on my head, but like this isn't great for my neck either, even if I'm only here for like a second. So I like having this little bit of height and having this window to roll through, okay? Plus it's gonna allow me to spin through a little bit faster, which is really, really good. So as I got here, I wanted to take this off my head, it's not there, so I'm gonna hook, right? To get my elbow, usually we can just come up and then pull the elbow in. Some guys are like really good at kind of like doing this like forearm motion out, but for shoulder health, it's really easy just to come here and do this. Pull the elbow back into your hip, and now you're in a good spot. So now to actually like swim through for the arm bar, this knee is gonna go right over his shoulder. I don't need my foot to clear his face, right? If my foot clears his face, he might use his hand to interrupt things and stuff like that. I just need my knee to clear his shoulder. So I'm gonna come here. I already have the elbow trapped. I'm coming up and I'm here. Now, I really don't want to stop my motion by putting my knee on the floor, right? This is good to like learn the position. I'm on my forearm, not my head. I've completely rolled from being belly up to being belly down, but I don't want my knee to touch. If it touches, it's okay, right? You're just gonna go from here to your hip and kind of end up in this Troy bar position. But as you get reps, what we wanna do when we have this hook and we build up height is go straight through to your hip. Right? I want to be able to spin through faster, which again is possible because I had that little bit of height. And it's going to allow me to create a little bit of momentum that hopefully forces Paul to roll, right? Whoa. Come all the way back. Let's come back to that Troy bar position. Right? So realistically, I'm in this Troy bar position where if Paul got stubborn, like I could probably finish the arm bar here, but I'm not really in a good entanglement that if I went for this arm bar, I'm not really doing anything that would stop him from being able to roll, especially if I created momentum anyway, because he's gonna roll to defend the Troy bar. And then when he does, now you can roll, right? I'm just gonna follow with my legs and then finish my arm bar, right? So now most of the time, our leg's already gonna be positioned over the body, and then the other leg just follows over the head, and that's fine. Sometimes, depending on how you rolled, you might be here, and my leg's still just gonna follow over the head. I'm just gonna leave it where it is, I'll come here, and still finish, right? A couple things on finishing this arm bar, right? I want his elbow to always go over one of my hips. And like it almost shouldn't matter how my legs are entangled. We'll kind of go over this later, but like I should be able to finish this arm bar here. I should be able to finish this arm bar here. Both legs on this side, both legs on that side, no legs at all. Like I should be able to finish the arm bar no matter what, but we'll go over that later as to why. But the other thing I want you to think about, let's go ahead and back roll ball. This might be a little bit advanced, I'll bring it up like later after we get a couple of reps. But when I'm going for an arm bar, I always want my knees to follow his feet, if possible. And we talked about this when we went over like getting stacked and inverting underneath for arm bars and stuff like that. But as he goes to roll, I want my knees to follow his legs this way, right? We're always taught to kind of like be, you know, like if you opened up a textbook on an arm bar, like we're always kind of like seated up, chest to the sky, sitting like this. But in practicality, I'm probably gonna be tilted this way, where I should be, towards his feet. Doesn't mean that I couldn't be tilted towards the head, right? There's benefits to this too, depending on the situation. But when I talked about this in the last lesson, if you guys remember, the arm bar is not just opposing forces up and down, where I'm pulling his hand down and my hips are going up. It's also like on a horizontal plane or like a twisting plane, where I can turn my hips one way while I'm pulling his arm the other. So it's acting in a couple different ways. I want to follow his feet, right? And then pull the arm over here. Doesn't mean that I couldn't come up and do one of these like super nasty arm bars. But again, if you remember my lesson from last week, part of the reason why I want to follow his feet is that when he has this momentum on the roll, if he comes up with it and I'm following his feet, I'm gonna be in a position to kind of keep the arm. Go ahead and try to stack me. And follow to finish the arm bar here. Come back down. Where, if I was square and he made that same motion, my knee's gonna kind of open up, and then we might end up in this kind of problem. Maybe I try to switch to a triangle or something, but I wanna have my knees kind of positioned in a way that I'd be able to like follow him and stay tight even if he tried to stack me, or even go ahead and stack me. Be in a position to where if I had to, I could invert under and do this all over again. Go ahead and roll, stack. Right, this just becomes like an endless thing, except I'm always gonna end up being ahead. Sorry about that. But in order for that to happen, my hips and knees have to always be going that direction. So I know this is kind of like a long explanation, but we're in full guard, right? Like bridge, push, pull, break his posture, scoot out to the side and up. Don't forget to go up. Keep your knees pinched. I'm trying to get the hand off my head to take his back. It's not working. I'm gonna trap it by reaching for my shoulder. I'm gonna post up to my elbow as I build height. My knee's gonna come over, but it's not gonna hit the floor. Roll all the way to my hip. That momentum, right, I already have this Troy bar, but that momentum and defending this lock should make him wanna roll. Doesn't matter if my foot got caught here. No matter where this leg is, my knees are gonna follow his feet, and this leg is gonna cross over. I'll finish the armbar. And at no point was he able to get his hands together. Okay? 1, 2, 1, 2.